because your health is your wealth. You see, when I speak on the subject of masturbation for manifestation, if you are a one-dimensional thinking being, you would only be thinking about one thing. But today, I'm gonna let you know it's not what you really think I am speaking about. It's deeper than that. Okay? So I'm gonna start from the top of my head, which is basically the base of my skull right here. Okay? And I'm gonna teach you how to understand your body from the sole of your feet to the crown of your head. So I'm gonna start from the crowning of your head, which is your crown chakra, to show you how to transmute this vital energy and use it to create your reality consciously. Now, anyone who would have ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, you'll see there that he has a chapter where he speaks about sexual transmutation. Okay? Now, this vital, most important energy lies at the base of your spine. And you have to get this energy to move up the spinal cord and to get this energy to go throughout your body. And so you have to understand your body, how it is a supercomputer and how it works. Also, you have to understand that you are magnetic and you are electrical. These are things that you have to understand before you can pleasure yourself. And what do I mean by that? Everyone who teaches on self-development, spirituality and all of these things, they will all tell you that you must have an attitude of gratitude and you must always be grateful. That in itself is a masturbation. It is you pleasuring yourself. It is you enjoying yourself. It is you embracing every moment. It is you activating the sexual energy when you're in a place of joy, peace, and happiness, a place of thanksgiving, a place of gratitude. So what they do, they give you, like for example, the pornography industry, to create a false sense of pleasure. And so they get you to use the sexual energy in a wrong way. Instead of you using it to heal you, you're using it to hurt you. And they make sure they pay a lot of money in order to get the masses not to discover how to pleasure themselves by just simply living in an attitude of gratitude. Because when you start to live in that attitude of gratitude and you live in thanksgiving and you are pleasuring yourself, you are actually baptizing yourself in the pleasure of your existence. You are baptizing yourself in the pleasure of your inhalation and your exhalation. Well, I'm going to show you some inhalation and exhalation technique that will help you to arouse this energy. Okay? Also, the drowsy sleepy state that you normally experience just before you go to bed and the horny sexual feeling is no different. Both are two magical states and the two most powerful magical states that you would ever experience. And so when you go back to gratitude, which as I said before, all teachers all around the world always tell you about gratitude, but they never go and tell you that gratitude will help to arouse this feeling. Okay, and that feeling is actually the main secret, but it is actually the sexual feeling. Okay, so as above, so below. Most people are familiar with the feeling down below. but never the feeling from above. Well, if you learn to take, for example, your thumb or any one of your fingers and massage, okay? For example, I'm going to use this finger, okay? And massage, gently massage the top of your skull, your crown chakra, okay? While you close your eyes and you go into your imaginal act, you gently just rub this area. And for those of you who have read my book, you know I've written a book called The Secret Vagina Mystery of the Virgin Birth, where I give birth from here. And I'm telling you, here is a portal. Okay, so you're rubbing this portal. Okay, and you're getting joy and pleasure from just rubbing this portal right here. While you're thinking about your goals or whatever you would like to manifest in life, and you're rubbing it right here, in this spot right here. Okay. For example, if you go to the female and the female wants to use the lower part, you know what I'm talking about, okay? Because I don't know what certain things I can say here, you know, and so on with YouTube and so on, right? But you know, a woman have a part of the body called, you know, the clitoris, okay? And you have the mount of Venus up there, and then you have the labia and so on, okay? And then you have the portal, right? Which is basically the vagina. Well, the most sensitive area, okay, when it's been rubbed, okay, it creates this feeling, it creates this sensation, it activates this creative power that is at the base of the spine. Well, I'm saying, if you don't want to go to that extreme, okay, you can just go right here, okay, top of your skull and gently rub it. Okay, so I'm actually starting from the crown chakra, at the crown, from right here, okay. And when you do that, you have to learn to breathe in and breathe out. Well, the thing is, when you breathe in, you gotta fill your stomach with air. So when you breathe in, your stomach must come out. Like for example, if you ever see the Buddha, you see the Buddha have a large stomach, and people think that the Buddha is a fat man. No, it's not a fat man. Okay, it's a symbol, it's a sign. Okay, it's a breathing sign. A symbol that is there. So you're gonna breathe in, so your stomach gonna push out like this. Okay. You wouldn't see my stomach, you know, coming pushing out that much because I'm very much lean. Okay. I carry 6-pack, everything. This is how I look. Okay. Take good care of my body and so on. Okay. And I do all of this naturally too. Okay. 100% natural. So yeah. So you're gonna breathe, when you breathe in, your stomach will push out like this with all the air. Okay. And then when you exhale and breathe out, you're breathing out your intention, because it is the life force that is magnetic and electrical that you're breathing in. So when you tell you oxygen and so on, okay, you have to go deeper than that. Okay. And then when you breathe it in, it going through a conversion state, a transmutation state. Okay. And so you send it out. Now, when you understand the book of mind science, which is the Bible, it says that my words, and people think it is speaking of, that it is speaking of a man in the sky, a man in the sky is speaking and saying so. It's not a man. It is you. When you understand the power of your breath and the power of your body and your sexual energy, it says that my words. Now, a word is the expression of a thought. Everything starts with a thought. It has to first be an idea. It has to first be imagined in the mind. Okay, so he said, my words will not return unto me void, but it must accomplish that things wherewith I send it to. So you're sending it out with intention. So as I said, you can start with the top of your head and gently massage it. Okay, after you start breathing in and breathing out at the base of your spine. So you're not breathing from here. You're breathing from down here, diaphragmatic breathing. Okay? You're actually breathing from down here. Right? This area, right above the sexual organ, right here. Okay? And when you breathe out and you let it out, you flex, tense on that area down here. And you start to feel the sensation. And you're going to take that sensation, and in your imagination, you're going to send it through your crown chakra, through the portal. Okay, so you're gonna send it out with your intention. Okay, so you practice that lying straight on your back at home. Okay, and you can put one hand rubbing here and you can put another hand rubbing here also. And when you breathe out, you flex at the base of your spine. You squeeze, you do a gentle squeeze at the base of your spine, and you will feel that sensation. Okay, and you imagine it coming up. Okay, through like a hose or something like that. Okay, send it up through your backbone. Okay, the base of your spine, and then send it out through here. So you can send it out through here. You could send it out through here also. Okay, and you can send it out through here through your exhalation. You're gonna give a big exhalation. Also, when you start to practice this breathing, which is the diaphragmic breathing from down here, okay, and you want to get in touch with these areas of your body, just think about the most sensitive areas of your body. So if you're very sensitive in the ear area, okay, you can gently rub the outer part of your ear to help you to feel good. Okay, and while you rubbing the outer part of your ear that makes you feel good, you think upon the thing that you want to manifest. Okay, and you're getting that joy and happy feeling while you're doing intentional breathing from your diaphragm. Okay, and when you're gonna make the final breath to send it out, as I said, you flex the lower part of your stomach and you will feel a sensation. If you do it long enough, you start feeling a real sweet feeling. If you do it long enough. Okay. Also, different to your ears being so sensitive, and most people think in terms of just the physical sexual act, you understand, of using the sensitivity of the air. You have to realize that these are the instrument whereby the five senses work. You see, you taste, you touch, and you smell. And the eye is the gateway to the soul. So while you're doing these acts, you close your eye to shut yourself out from this illusion. This outer wall of matter is illusion. It is illusionary. And you're tapping into the real wall. The wall where all things are possible. The wall of the spirit. And so you're going to transmute spirit or energy. Because most people do not know that spirit, what they call spirit, is actually energy. Okay? And energy cannot be created or destroyed, but it can be transmuted. And now you're going to transmute that energy from down at the base of your spine through whichever of the senses you want to use. Whether is it the eyes, the ears, the nose, or the crown of your skull. Okay, which is basically Golgotha. Okay. There is where you would experience the resurrection. Because what you're going to do, you're going to call forth something that was not. And it will become a hardened objective fact. That is why the resurrection is tied to an erection. You see, it is the creative act. And so when two people come together, they're in the act of creating. And when the creation process is finished, the soft part between the man thigh, it shrinks. That's in the Bible, in Genesis. Okay, in the story of Jacob. Okay. And so these stories are not speaking about people who existed thousands of years ago. All these stories have to do with your anatomy, your physiology, your biology, your psychology. It's all about your body. Okay? So your body being the most complex piece of work, there is a supercomputer. You have to know how to operate that supercomputer. So just as the computer have a keyboard and it also have a CPU and so on, it's the same thing with you. Okay? So the tip of your fingers, okay, they carry certain electrical and magnetic sense that is connected to your nervous system. So that is why if you touch certain part of your body intentionally, you can create your reality consciously. So when I speak about masturbation, I'm talking about pleasure in yourself. I'm not speaking about the way you would have seen in pornography and so on. Okay? Though it can be done that way also. I don't want you to focus on that way only. I want you to know it's been done psychologically. Okay? So, the many teachers like Joe Dispenza and all of these people, all the things that he do in his retreat is basically a waiting for the wind to calm down a little. Okay? Just waiting for the wind to calm a little bit. Okay? The wind is blowing very, very heavy right now. It's gonna calm down in a while. Okay, I believe the wind is just vindicating what I'm saying. Okay, because all this is the life force. Okay, and you're walking with wind, water, earth, and fire. Okay, it's the same thing Joe Dispenza and all these people are walking with. So what he's teaching them is basically inner masturbation. Okay, so most people just thinking about outer, physical, sensual masturbation. No, there's the inner. Okay. And the inner is what I want you to focus upon. The most psychological masturbation. Because all is mind. Okay? Because that's how you're going to be connected to the spirit. So when you have a desire in this world, like for example, the sexual desire is a spiritual desire. And they brainwash you with shame, guilt, judgment, condemnation, and all of these things through religion, especially Christianity. And so if you are a melanated person especially, you have to accept the fact that you've been brainwashed from birth and that your parents have been brainwashed and that you have to be willing to unlearn and relearn and reprogram your subconscious mind and realize that the English language is a coded language and the language in the Bible is a coded language also, and that you have the right to pleasure yourself whichever way you want. And I'm not talking about the carnal way, because most people have been kept in a carnal mindset. But you have to understand that there will always be the carnal and the spiritual man. That's why I'm saying to those who are spiritual that you have to live in the attitude of gratitude, always live in thanksgiving. And that in itself is an inner masturbation. That is you pleasuring yourself. And it is creating an inner friction. For example, if you take your fingers like this and you do that, you find that you're feeling a nice, peaceful feeling. Okay? If you are facing some form of anger and you take 2 deep breaths, you find you're going to feel calm. Because why? It is creating a pleasurable feeling within. So this pleasurable feeling within, it is you actually playing with yourself, your spiritual self. You see, they never want you to learn how to pleasure yourself or how to play with yourself by learning your body. Okay? So when you come to the nose where you can inhale and exhale, you can practice. Okay? So you can stop this one and you can breathe in and breathe out from this one, and then you can stop this one and you can breathe in and breathe out from this one. Okay? And also, while you're doing that, you can just place your hand right here at the temple and you can gently massage the temple, and you will realize that the number 11 is the gateway, And right here and here, if you put your two fingers here, I remember only when I used to do videos and so on, I used to have pictures like with one finger here and one finger there. Okay, showing you Solomon temple. Okay, and show you what this is the real temple and your body is the temple. So many people have allowed thieves and robbers to enter into the temple and make the house of the higher self a den of thieves. So the politicians are entering there and thieving. The preachers are entering there and they're stealing. And that is why you have to take back your power by learning about this supercomputer, the body, how it really works. Okay, now when you inhale and you exhale, it is a receiving and a giving. So there's always giving and receiving. Now the sexual act is based on giving and receiving. Well, when you understand that process in the physical sexual world, you have to now take that same process and understand it in the psychological mental world, and then link that to the spiritual world, knowing that you are spirit having a human experience. That is why manifestation, law of attraction and all of these things have been attacked by the church, where they try to tell you that it is demonic because people are afraid of the unknown. What they are afraid of? Themselves, because themselves become the unknown. They do not know themselves. They do not know who they are. They do not understand how the mind works. They do not even understand how their body works. That is why they use this most vital energy, the sexual energy, to bring an idiot in the world speaking about Jesus coming soon, instead of to better themselves. Okay? And that is why, melanated people found themselves at the bottom of the barrel when they're supposed to be at the top, being the sun people. Okay? And that is why Africa have so much wealth, yet the people live in ignorance, and many of them live in a backward way, looking for some man to come from the sky to save them. But I'm telling you how to activate the saving power that is within you to pay all of your bills. Because you cannot escape the law of Caesar. The law of Caesar will always be here, and you will always have your sexual energy. You will always have your sexual power, but the choice is yours. You're going to think it is dirty, or you're going to know that is the energy that bring money into this world. That is the energy they use to create church and to create a God on the outside to blind you from the power that is within, from a higher self. Okay? And so they give you a S-O-N to believe in instead of the S-U-N. Because everything I'm saying here, okay, if you know my teaching, I've always been teaching the inner sun science and technology to create your reality consciously. And I've always been teaching that the sun parallels the human imagination, and the human imagination parallels the sun. For without the sun, there's no life and there's no light. And without the human imagination, there isn't anything made that was made. Okay? So once you know that have always been the foundation of my teaching, you would realize that the sun is what is powering the sexual energy. That is why you need to take your shoes off and get grounded. Okay? Also, that is why you need to get enough sunlight to get a lot of vitamin D3. And that is why you must do sun gazing and also have the sun hitting you right here. Okay? Because you have the sun in you. That's why you are told, let your light so shine. Why it is telling you that you must let your light so shine? It is your creativity it is talking about. It is you activating the light within, okay, which is the sexual energy that can be transmuted into your reality. Okay, and it is the energy of the sun. Just like the energy of the sun on the outside allow the plants to bring forth in abundance. So too, the sun within, the inner sun, that energy that you get in, which is the sexual energy. it will transmute into your reality whatsoever you desire. That is why a man and a woman could come together and they could bring a child into this world. You need to understand it's the same process. So don't make them fool you and make you feel guilt and shame about the same thing that bring you here. So my brother and my sisters, once you realize that you've been brainwashed and the church system have been robbing you from this vital energy and how to use it, and they call it sex magic, and they use the word magic to scare you because you do not know that you're a magician, where every one of us are magicians on this planet. It's just that the people who go to church, they're using a very weak form of magic. Very, very weak. It's the weakest form of magic. That's why they're slave to the banks and the credit unions. Okay? That's why they could be easily brainwashed, and in 2020 they were command concerning what to do, how much people must go into their assembly and so on. Okay? Because they're controlled. So they have no power because they're the weakest. So when you read about the story of Moses and Pharaoh magicians, they never tell you that Moses represents a master magician and that Moses meant to be born or to be taken out of the water. Well, the good news is that your mother, most of your mother body is water, most of your body is water. And when you was in the womb, that's a basket surrounded by water. And to come here to have this human experience, it takes an exodus. Okay? And so the woman give off a fluid, okay, from down below, and the man gives off a fluid also. And so when she gets strike, okay, if you understand phallic, you would realize that she Red Sea stopped. She wasn't longer seeing the flowing of that Red Sea, and then she knows she's pregnant. Okay? Because you see, a woman walks with the moon. And so everything I'm saying here represents the sun and the moon. One is the giver, one is the receiver. The moon received the light from the sun. Okay? Just like the woman received from the man, the seed. And so you carrying the seed of thoughts. Okay? And when you take that seed and you plant it in the sexual soil, or the sexual energy, it's going to bring forth in abundance. That's why the sexual energy must be understood correctly. Okay, so they use the marriage trickery, the adultery and fornication trickery, which I'll do videos on those separate, okay, and show you. And if you never get my book that is called The Truth About Marriage, I would definitely encourage you to get a book, The Truth About Marriage, and also The Secret Vagina, Mystery of the Virgin Birth. Okay, get those books. Also, Spiritual Recipe for Better Living, How to Turn Water into Wine also is a very good book, and How to Open the Floodgates of Abundance. You would realize people have been paying their tithes for 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, and no windows of heaven have ever been opened to them, pour them out a blessing that they do not have room enough. Well, it is because I do not have room enough that I have to keep pouring out and teach others this truth. Okay, because of what have been poured into me. So, when it comes to the sexual energy, okay, think from here first. Okay, the crown of the skull, your crown chakra. Okay, come down to your temple. Okay, always massage these areas. Okay, the outer part of your hair. Always play with your nose, okay, with your inhalation and your exhalation, and feel the sensation. Okay, your lips carry so much senses. That's why when you kiss and you do these things, you're sending electrical messages throughout your body. The woman is receiving also electrical messages through her body. That's why she get aroused. Okay, and they check you and they call it French kiss and this kiss and that kiss. And they tell you if you're a Christian, you mustn't French kiss, you mustn't do this, you mustn't do that. Kiss on the cheek, all that kind of foolishness. Because they control the sexuality. Okay, so it carry all of these sensations. So the sensations that you feel. And you so trapped to this body, you believe all of that is real. No, it's electrical, how to put it? It is electrical and magnetic communication that is taking place because you're magnetic and you're electrical, and it is causing an arousal. Okay, so your lips, and this is why you use your mouth. You use your mouth to speak. Also, very importantly, concerning the nose. Okay, for example, if you have money, okay, I can't reach the money right now, so I will use this. Okay, you can smell money. Money carry a very distinct smell, and you can smell it, and you can feel it, and you can count it in your imagination. The same thing, you could smell a woman. You see, some men don't go down because sometimes they choose the wrong woman. Okay, you don't go choose a woman who doesn't have proper hygiene. Okay, so hygiene is very important. Okay, so for example, a married couple could be let me say the right words, so into each other that they know the smell of each other. Okay, so sometimes if a man go out and so on, his woman could just smell he and know, you know, he been with someone else, because smell is very important. So you have to use also the sense of smell. Okay, so for example, if you can close your eyes and smell Kentucky Fried Chicken, because most people they eat so much of junk food. Okay, they could smell all of the different junk food joints you have in especially in these bigger countries and so on. They have so much fast food. You could smell those things. It's the same thing with smelling money. It's the same thing smelling the interior of a vehicle. It is the same thing smelling the interior of a jet, an aeroplane, a yacht, anything at all. A store, if you want to own a store. I own a store, okay? I own a store, an online store, because I do e-commerce, okay? You can smell those things, okay? The same how you can smell a man, you can smell a woman, okay? So all of that is must be involved. So you can even close your eyes and get in touch with the smell, and use that arousal to manifest, okay? With the ears, they want to touch in the ears. You can hear. That is why the most powerful song to create or manifest is the sexual song, I've been thinking about how I could put something like that together and get it to people. They tell you, look, listen to binaural beats and so on. Binaural beats don't help you bring a child in this world, Do you know the song of two people mating? Do you know how powerful that song is? And do you know that song could be used? People normally have things in their ears, listening to all kind of foolishness and listen to music. I rather listen to the song of sex. Yeah. It's the most creative power there is. Okay. So it's very important for you to learn about the body and really how the body works and learn about this power. Okay. Very, very important. Okay, so basically I've only come right down to right here so far, because I didn't even come down to the throat chakra and so on to tell you about affirmation and so on, why you need to use affirmation and why affirmation works and so on. Maybe I might have to do another video and come down to the rest part of the body. Okay, so if you would like me to do that, you can definitely reach out and let me know through your comments. But from here up, it's very important for you to understand, okay, that is the capping of the pyramid right there. It's very important for you to understand this is where the upper room is. This is where the highest intelligence is. It's very important for you to understand that here is where they want to control. And once they control here, you understand, they control you and your actions. Okay, so what I'm gonna read some of the comments here. Okay, just to make it a little bit more interactive. Okay, and yes, let me say happy Father's Day, okay, to everyone. And I'm only saying happy Father's Day to those who know that every day is Father's Day and who have been a father every day. Not those who are just depending on this day that the system give them to try to show their appreciation to the woman or to their son or their daughter or their children. Okay, but every day, you are everyday father. Okay, so yeah, let me big up everyone. Okay. So thank you for making that comment. It actually remind me there. Okay, Kasi Vok. if I'm pronouncing Kosikov. Okay. Chemistry says yawning. Yeah, the lower part is the yawning. But as you have a yawning down below, there's a yawning up top too. Okay, most people don't know that. That's why this area is very important. You get more in touch with this area. Okay, gently rub this area. Okay, as you're about to, go into a sort of meditation to create your reality consciously. You need a good wash and a bed trim. why why do you think that I need that? Okay, I choose to look this way. Okay, and to be honest with you, when I had my awakening experience and I've just felt good, letting my hair grow and so on, and people in society used to just, stigmatize me, and people used to say, oh, why you carry yourself like that? Why you look like that? This, that. Then it started to open my eyes to see how society is so brainwashed and they all want to change everyone else except themselves. And so it gave me a whole perspective and helped me to see things from a different angle. Okay, and so it is whenever I feel like to lighten up a little, I will go and do that. Okay, I don't do that for society. I don't do that for based on what people say or what people think. But it really helped me to see how brainwashed people really has been. When I started carrying myself this way, some start branding me as a Rastafarian, some start asking me if I was a Muslim and so on. Okay, but you must feel free to carry yourself whichever way you want to carry yourself. If you want to be clean shaved, for example, I used to be clean shaved. Totally clean shaved. All of my moustache, everything used to be clean shaved. Everything used to be clean shaved. And no one ever tell me, why you so clean shaved? But when I start carrying these, then you find people like that. Okay? But there's no one to change but yourself. Okay, I'm teaching, vital things here for people who want the knowledge to pleasure themselves, whichever way they choose. Okay, psychologically speaking, spiritually speaking, and physically speaking, if they choose to also. Because there's so many young men right now who are struggling with pornography and using the energy foolishly. And so many people chop with OnlyFans. Why you think OnlyFans make so much money? It's because of people ignorance. Okay, but if they use the energy wisely, they wouldn't need to watch OnlyFans after a certain time, because the men who watching OnlyFans, many of them, if they can't get women, they will end up getting women because they will better themselves if they learn to use the energy wisely. Okay, someone mentioned here the laughing Buddha. Yeah, the laughing Buddha also is just an expression, it's just a sign, okay, of you having pleasure, you pleasuring yourself, you being in the feeling and gratitude. Okay, laughter is the best medicine. Okay, so all of that is masturbation, you pleasuring yourself, but people do not understand it on that level. Everyone in this world indulges in masturbation because it's friction, it's giving and receiving. It is you arousing that sexual feeling, which is a magical feeling, because we are all magicians, whether you believe it or not. As a matter of fact, I'm going to say this. Do you realize that everyone is involved in what they refer to as witchcraft? Do you know witch is a wise person? Do you know wizard is a wise person? I don't mind anyone call me a wizard, because I never know this by joining any. I never join no brotherhood, no fraternity, no secret society, because people normally ask me those questions. So then have to be, I'm a born wizard. So the preachers are using wizardry on the people, and the people don't know. But when you know how to operate your body, you'll use a more powerful and stronger form. Okay, and that is told to you in the Bible, in the book of Mind Science, in the story of Moses and Pharaoh magicians. Okay, showing you that Moses, okay, those who come to the higher self are more powerful. Okay, that's why the very Bible also says that the rich ruleth over the poor and the borrower is a slave to the lender. Why you think more religious people are the lender? The borrower, I mean, sorry. They're always the borrower and not the lender. What you think Bill Gates, Musk, what's his name? Jeff Bezos, all of these people, we think they know. Mark Zuckerberg, we think they know. You think it's anything different? Just mean they know these things from a little child. While your mother telling you about Jesus and Jesus coming soon. And make you an idiot. Okay, like and sub. Can you share your thoughts on your favorite of all time serial killers? I don't know. I don't know about that. Okay, because all these things about serial killers are just stories of what people talk about. Okay. So I don't like to talk about things I do not know. Please kindly re-explain. Kindly re-explain, please. I want to learn the process. It would be very hard for me to go back over everything I just said. You might have to go back over the video, or if you want, you can schedule a one-on-one with me. Okay, we could go deeper down the rabbit hole. Okay. But remember, I'm not just talking about, you know, the outer masturbation alone. I'm talking about the inner psychological one with the mind, whereby you have to learn to play with yourself from within. Okay, to connect more with the spirit. Kalisa Nova said hi. Hi to you also. It's a pleasure having you on this live. We are the sun. Of course, yes. We are sparks of the sun. Okay. We are light beings. Okay, that's why you're told that God is light. And you are God. You just having a human experience. So they don't want you to discover your God self. That's why they're stealing your sexual energy, having you using it foolishly just to bring another idiot in the world. Because they use it adultery and fornication story to keep in guilt and shame. Someone say, free Palestine. I second that. Okay, these people have traveled all over the world, taking everybody else's land. Okay, so I second you with that. Okay, the spirit is the sun. Yeah, this person say the spirit is the sun, and the sun is the spirit. Yeah, because the spirit is the light. Okay, you are a light being. Most people are not transmuting the light. That's why they still live in darkness. As I said before, so many people in Africa are not living in the light. They're living in darkness because they give them the Bible and they take their lands and all their riches. I sorry for Africans. Everywhere they go, they construct churches calling on Jesus. They have many Africans come to my country as medical students. They want to construct churches all over the place to make the people even more religious than they already religious here, because the people here are very, very religious. They will tell you that I am a crazy man. Okay? We are just the sun separated in physical form. Of course, 100% that. As I said, we just spark from the sun. Okay, and what they do, they individualize you. Okay, so they do all of these things to individualize you. That's why they make you walk around with guilt and shame and so on towards the sexual energy and how to use the sexual energy wisely. It's the only energy there is. The sexual energy. Okay? But they keep you in one dimension. That's why they interpret the Bible to you as literal and as secular history, and they have it. They interpret the Bible to have you looking outwardly instead of you looking inwardly, and realize that it is your own thoughts that is creating your reality and creating your personality. For as a man thinketh in his heart, so is he. But that is being done inwardly in a sexual way, and you don't even know it. Because a desire, born in desire, is a spiritual sensation. It's the spirit want it. When you want sex, who you think want it? Is the spirit want it. The spirit want to experience sex. When you want a vehicle, a certain vehicle, who you think want it? Is the spirit want it. So, the greatest happiness you could get in this world is finding yourself, knowing yourself. You think Elon Musk and all of these billionaires, you think they could have more happiness than you? Do you realize when a man reaches the point that he could buy a private yacht and he could buy a private jet, where's he gonna buy? Where's he could buy? Tell me where's he could buy. Do you know rich people who have so much money? There's reach a place whereby there's nothing more for them to buy except if they want to buy misery. That's why they end up with Epstein Island. That's why they end up with Epstein Island, you know. They had to get fun somewhere. That they get something to make them happy. Okay, so may someone say, may the Lord be with you. I don't want the Lord to be with me when the Lord is me. And be blessed and stay safe. You see, most time when people use these kind of words, they're separating themselves from the Lord. You are the Lord, your higher self, your God self. And this person named themselves a fantastic wall of what? Kindle? Oh, I thought it was the word Kundalini that was there, but no. It's Kindle, because I want to say you're going to talk about Kundalini and saying that. Okay? Stop using those kind of terms. They have you speaking defeating language, like may the Lord be with you. No. That is spelling separation. I and God are one. Every time I say I'm speaking about God. Every time I say I. That's my true essence. And I'm speaking from experience, because when that I awake within you, you change from mortal to immortality. That's when you will find your immortal self. And you will understand the power of the sexual energy, because you'll be transmuted from one form to another. And it will take place inwardly. That's why I know the greatest lie that ever been fed to humanity is the Jesus and Mary story that you believe to be later on secular history. Man, sometimes, it hurt my heart to see that black people could be so brainwashed to the point that they calling them monkey. And they're throwing banana and soccer fields in Europe and making monkey chants in stadiums. When African players play and they score certain goal and soccer, if you're a person who used to watch soccer, you see just a whole stadium throwing banana and making a monkey chant. You know what I mean? And they're doing it to a black person. You know what they're saying? You have an unorganized mind. You have to have an unorganized mind and be mentally retarded to believe that a man coming from the sky to save you, to believe in Jesus. And they give you Jesus as a blonde hair, blue eye boy. But you have to be really mentally retarded. Okay? Why are you staring in my soul? So, well, the deep call it to the deep. And it take the deep to respond. So if your soul is connected to what I am saying, it will seem like I'm looking straight into your soul, answering all the questions and so on. Okay, and you call yourself a seeker. It's good to be a seeker. Okay? People who are religious, they're not seekers, they know everything. Leave them alone. Leave the self-righteous alone. They know everything. Nice to have you, Tina Marie. You always on the lives. It's always a pleasure to have you. I send blessings to every one of you who are listening to me. And I'm saying to you, do not be afraid to use your body just as you would use a computer, knowing that you are magnetic and electrical, know that your fingers carry certain senses and so on. Nothing wrong with touching your ears and playing with your ears. Nothing wrong with touching the base of your skull and the base of your spine. And there's some other areas that we're going to. If you all will want me to do another live, I'm going to the other areas of your body. It's a weapon you're carrying right there. Your body is a weapon. Watch me. Your body more powerful than the atomic bomb. Look. I will talk all day. Look, they try to distract the world with wars, with the fake Israel, okay, and Iran. Israel is just dominance they're fighting for, One is Islamic and one and one set up the Christian system. Yeah, they fight a religious dominance is power they're fighting for, right? And they try to distract you and tell you about atomic bomb, and just like America said that Saddam was building. Up to now, they can't find where Saddam was building, because they wanted was to defeat Saddam and control the people. Okay, same thing they want to do right now with Iran. Okay, so but the point I really want to make is that you're more powerful than any atomic bomb that ever built. Do you realize that the idea have to come from the mind, and they have to go to the earth to get uranium and so on, and mine that uranium and thing, and to bring it into a state? So you're more powerful. When you know who you are, you're more powerful than any atomic bomb. You don't live in that kind of fear. And you know what they're doing? You know what Israel doing? Israel feeding off of the energy of the brainwashed Christians. That's what they're doing. The day black people wake up, that so-called Israel fall. It will be in ash. The day black people wake up, it's black people energy they're feeding off. Netanyahu, all of them come from all about Europe and so on. It's black people energy. So that's why they set up church talking about the Jews are the chosen people. Shut your stupid ass, but Jews are chosen people and but the Lord Jesus coming soon. That's why when people come on in my life talking about Jesus, I cuss them out. So they're feasting off black people energy in Africa and all about. And because here, they would be looking at those things on the internet with Israel and they would be saying, I'm back in Israel and giving the energy. I ain't giving none of them. And if you check those people who give black people Christianity, they enslave them. Those who give them Islam enslave them too, you know. Most people only know about one slave trade. They don't know about the next one. Where they used to castrate black men. They know about that one. Okay. Somebody say, brother, you are, oh fuck, wait, okay, sorry. Yeah, somebody say, brother, you are the next Malcolm. Well, I know about being the next X, because I know I found my Christ self. Okay, and you see, Elon Musk tried to talk about X. You see, Malcolm knew who he was, so he called himself X. Because he found his Christ consciousness. And when he did really find his Christ consciousness, that's why they tried to take him out. And our people go wrong. I hate to see people always commenting and talk about protect that brother at all costs. Bro, whether you die now or you die tomorrow is the same death. Never live your life being afraid of death when you are eternal. You know, if black people in South Africa and America and all of these places wake up, let me use South Africa, where they had apartheid and so on. If they really wake up and get rid of this stupid Jesus and Mary bullshit story and this kind of religious mentality that they have and so on, do you know that everything will turn the other way around? You know, it would be these white people, these farmers. You know, these would be the ones who will end up in poverty. And these people live richly in their country. How these people end up in Africa and become Africans? So my brother and my sisters, being a Malcolm X is you understanding your X, your Christ self. You waking up to find your Christ self. So we're not supposed to be going around just saying, oh, Malcolm did this, Martin Luther King did this. No, we have to do our part in waking up people. That's why I've been telling melanated people, if anyone bring any photograph of any man that claim to be your savior, take that photograph and shit on it, take it out in nature, shit on it, whether is it black or white. That's why Putin tell these men who going around say there's Hebrew Israelite and making an ass out of themselves and so on, and tell them about black Jesus. Not until you could print your own money and come up with your own money, you could tell me that you use Israelite and this and that. It's just another religion. They're just starting another religion. Okay? But I'm saying to you, no one could take your sexual energy away from you unless you give it to them. Because it's your sexual energy they're after. They are vampires. They're feasting and reaping your sexual energy. While they keep in guilt and shame, judgment and condemnation. He said your messages are always a blessing to listen to. Thank you very much, and it's always a blessing having you. We are all the sun people. Of course, we are all the sun people, but there are some people who are more closer to the sun than others. It's like the birds. They're all birds, but where the eagle fly, the chicken and hawk can't fly where the eagle flies. Come on. It's like the goat is an animal, the sheep is an animal, but the sheep don't mate with the goat, and the goat don't mate with the sheep. That is why when a black man mate with a Caucasian, what do you think you're bringing forth? A hybrid. Any person go and mate outside the race, what you bringing? A hybrid. You ain't bringing back nothing original. We are all the sun people, yes. We are the sun, yes, I know that. Okay. Why do you think that the sun damages some people? Why it doesn't damage other people? Do you know the sun could be destructive to some people? Why it could be healing to some people? Which brings me to this. That one man God is another man devil. And another man devil is another man God. Do you know why Jesus is black people devil? Do you know black people right now in church? Right now in my country, church is filled with people worshiping what? The devil. The veil. The veil. Evil. Evil. The veil. You veil from your higher self. You veil from your God self. And these are the same people who turn around and call you atheists, not knowing that they are the atheists. Because they do not believe in God. They believe out God. Catch it. Catch it. That's why the white guy who ran the channel called School of Hard Knocks, he always asks the people, do you believe in God? He's talking about in God. He's not talking about out God. Black people believe in out God. They don't believe in God. If you go ask all the people who go to church, do you believe in God? They're going to say yes. Because they don't understand language. They believe out God. That's why they believe out. That's why they're looking outward. Backward people. It's not the Son of God. It's the Son of God. You know, sometimes people always repeat all of these things, but are you really living like what you're saying? Because I hate people who just get a bunch of intellectual knowledge, you know, and not seeking for experience. I'm glad I didn't have no knowledge. Because it will hinder me. Because I realize how fake educational system is. And it's fake knowing. You get something from a book, you get something from hearing other people on the internet and so on. That's why they feed in the internet. They feed in on the internet with a bunch of information. So when people like me who are experience the true resurrection, who experience the ball from the skull and so on, when people like me come, it ain't gonna feel, it ain't gonna be as effective to you because you think you know. That's what they're doing. That's the game they're playing. But I've been saying the light within only ever came from one place. Thank you for sharing. Okay, but my brother and my sisters, don't get caught up in just knowledge. I tell you, your body is a weapon. Equip yourself and use it. Use it. Use this kind of knowledge and better yourself in every way. Do you know every war is an economic war, is a financial war, is a war for power? Do you know the preachers will fight a war against anyone who's spiritual without taking up bombs and guns? That's why they always say this is demonic, that is demonic and so on. I could debate anybody. Just tell me when and where and what you want to debate me about. You have my email. Okay? If you have bars enough and backbone enough, okay, to show your face in the debate, I have no problem with that. It takes a real man to debate me because whatever I speak from experience. Okay? And I teach that the Bible is a book of mind science. So if you want to debate me with that, let's go. Because I want to know how you're going to speak. And it wasn't first a thought or first an idea. I would want you to explain how you're going to make a comment like that. And in a first a thought or first an idea. And my whole teaching is that the Bible is psychological. It has no reference to anyone who existed thousands of years ago. It's all a brainwash. So what you want to debate me about? Say what you want to debate me about and let's go. I could debate anyone because I speak from experience. I'm not speaking from book. Bumbo clot. Yeah. Bumbo clot. Pussy clot. I'm God. Well, you know, some people believe they could say I am for someone else. So when you say I am the way, the truth and the life, they believe some white boy with blonde hair and blue eye. They speaking for that blonde hair, blue eye boy. That idol. You know why I speak like this? I grew up in a very, 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 very poor family and my grandmother had one thing stick up in the house. A picture of a blonde hair, blue eye boy. And tell me that that's my savior. He died on a cross for me. That's why I have a shit on that lie. And anyone who try to debate me, I will shit on you. I will literally shit on you. Because you deserve to be shit upon. That's why they have porta party in Dubai somewhere there. When they reach to the point they're shitting on people, even melanated the people they're shitting on. They've been shitting on the people of Africa for so many years. Give them the Bible and they shit on them. France been shitting on all of these African countries that they colonize. Europe been shitting on those African countries until when Ibrahim Traore tried to do something. They tried to give another melanated one more money so he go beat Shehi. Two truths and a lie. Damn unk. You look good. Yeah man, I have to look good because why? I love myself, I believe in myself, I embrace myself, and I'm not afraid to say, fuck Jesus. So when Kanye West and them tell you that Jesus is king, they're using a coded language. Kanye and them not talking about no man and no sky, is king. I power in you talk about. You just use the name there because the name mean I am. That is why I remove Jesus out of the Bible and I leave a blank space for you to write your name, which is I am. You could check in the description. I see my Bible down there. The I am Bible, the 66 books of magic. We are magician, bro. Remove Jesus, the idol, the white idol. Somebody say 1 plus 1 plus 1 equal 1. Ask we name Terrence. The guy who used to be in movies. I try to remember his name. Because they say he crazy too when he started to speak certain things. Someone say I like being brainwashed by you. Yeah, because you have to brainwash from what your parents told you. Because you definitely have to brainwash yourself to really find your higher self. So these words of wisdom is to really brainwash you because many people brain need a wash. All these people in churches today right now, their brain need a washing. They need a cleansing. They need purification. So they will find their God self and become true alchemists. Yeah. Because the church has been created to brainwash people and to control them. Please scare me. I don't understand that. Show me what kind of magic you can do. You see, people don't understand magic. Okay. Right now, you're using a piece of apparatus. Okay. To communicate with me. From thousands and thousands of miles. Don't you know that's magic? Huh? Do you not understand that the seen and the unseen, you taking something from the unseen and you make it seen, is magic? Do you realize that everything was first a thought, it was first an idea, it was first imagine? That's magic right there. What do you think magic is? You make religious people, I normally see people have videos saying things will happen so fast you think it's magic, but it's not magic and all kind of thing. It's just language they use them to fool you. It's freaking magic. Magic and manifestation is no different. It's no different. We think Elon Musk and them be. They hire magicians. They're doing certain rituals and all of that. Every day you're doing rituals and don't even know it. You know people in church right now rituals they're doing. Damn. Show me kind of magic you do. Man, yo, find something else to say, no, man. I better you do like this person here. This red light runner. I'm a magician. Declare that you're a magician. Declare that. And start to work your magic. And you start to see things start to change in your life. Do you know when you're feeling horny? Is a magical state you're getting in? People don't realize that, you know. You realize. Try it. I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to tell you people who listen to me something right now. Do you know if you're mating with your significant other, after you already discharge and everything, okay? Within the next say 5 to 10 minutes, you utilize that time, even after you finish, to visualize and imagine, and you see how vivid your imagination is. They realize that you was in a magical state and you're coming out in magical state and you say fully come out of the magical state yet. But some people, they eat so much of junk food when they're done the week, they start to sleep. They start snowing. Start snowing, eating a bunch of shit. I want to know which one the preacher does go with the wife thinking about Jesus while he doing. None. Can get anything you want, bro, if you know how to use the sexual energy. Somebody say, why does nobody love me? Because you don't love yourself. It is impossible for you to give love and not receive back love. Impossible. Even your enemy will be at peace with you. When your ways please God, when you say, when your ways please God, you're not talking about man in the sky, you know. When you find your higher self and you accept your higher self and you embrace your higher self and you start to live in the knowledge of your higher self, that's masturbation I'm talking about there. Your pleasure in yourself. Can you find yourself? You say even your enemy will be at peace with you. Why? Because there'll be more progress in your life. And the enemy will see progress in your life. That's what you're talking about. Following from where? Europe. Nice having people from Europe and all over the world. I want people all over the world, especially people in Africa, to get this message and wake up. I'm asexual. What do you mean by that? I am asexual. I'm not quite familiar with that word asexual. I'm being honest. Gibraltar, no one cares. Oh, he's speaking back to someone here. Okay. Gibraltar says, I care. Here's not the place to go praise Jesus. Okay. Go somewhere else. Not on this life. Okay. Only dumb people would say that. I believe in some man. There's no man who ever existed who walked this earth, who could walk on literal water, turn literal water into wine. If that was so, then the people whose body he occupied must do the same. It basic common sense. You can't plant pumpkin and rip watermelon. So let me see. Let me adjust this person with KB EEZ what? IFY whatever. Okay. Don't make comment. Action speak louder than words. Walk on water and shut me up. Turn literal water into wine and shut me up. I wrote a book called How to Turn Water into Wine. Go get it and learn something new. 6. Hi. Nice having you, Tanisha. Blessings to you too. Sharon, thanks for having me in your space. Okay. And thank you also for accepting the truth and knowing the truth, because you shall know the truth and the truth shall set you free. Okay. Tina Marie, you are right. Every day is Father's Day. Of course, every day is Father's Day. Every day is giving and receiving. Every day there's a new father. And every day you're impregnating yourself and bringing forth. And some people don't know that. Every day, people sowing the wrong seed in their garden, in the Garden of Eden. They don't even realize the Garden of Eden and the child life is the whole anatomy it is speaking about. Most people don't even know their mind is the garden. They don't even know the child life is their whole anatomy. You look at the flag. You look at the flag that the so-called Israel with Netanyahu and them have. Look at the flag and look at the sign and the flag. All you have to do is stand up and put your 2 hands on your hip. That was revealed to me at night. when I awoke in the morning with a certain intelligence, I used to go to sleep and I would go into another wall of strictly high intelligence. And when I come out of the wall, I used to remember certain things, just a little bit of it. Because in that wall, I used to be extremely intelligent. Okay? And when I come out, I remember certain things. And I remember a preacher who had known me from a little boy and who all tell me I was special and unique. And that preacher, before he died, I went to see him when he was sick. And when I tried to tell him that Jesus is not real and so on, it was very hard for him to accept it. But he told me he always had a question all his life. He wanted us to know what was the symbol of the what they call what Israel have on the flag. They call it I forgot the something of David. Okay, I'm trying to remember the name of it. What they call it. But that symbol, okay. And I stood up, I put my two hands on my hip, and I showed him the sign. The Star of David, yeah. The Star of David. I said, that is the Star of David right there. He never doubt me of it. He say only now, for the first time, he get to understand what it is. I says, you are the Star of David. When you accept your higher self and believe in your higher self and in your higher self, let me stand up. I could only use one hand. You put two hands on your hip. And that is symbol right there. That Israel on the flag. You the Star David. You the 5-pointed Star David. You are the 5-pointed Star David. Make the anybody fool you. And that preacher, he get the answer from me before he died. And he knew me from since I was a little boy. He all the time say, you special, you're unique. That's when I used to go to church as a little boy. Okay, let me read these other comments, because after a while I'm going to come to a close. You're right there with this Father's Day. You look amazing. Thank you very much. You are amazing too. Okay, because you have an amazing spirit. Okay, because to be connected with someone like me, you have to have an amazing spirit. Because in my country, they will say, I'm stupid and crazy, you know. Do you know in my country they think I'm crazy, man? Because I don't believe in that Jesus bullshit and the church bullshit. Tanisha, you say I'm looking great too. Thank you very much. I appreciate the way I look. As I said earlier in the same live, when I used to be clean shaved, totally clean shaved, look like, and you know where I get that from? While in my seeking, I end up and join myself to a church that they used to believe that there was a white boy from America, Jeffersonville, named William Branham. He was a prophet and all of that, which I end up and I meet him in Dreamland. I meet him in Woodland. Okay? And if you follow him, you'll be lost. Because everywhere you put your feet, when you remove your feet, a tree will come up there. So you'll be in a wilderness. So night after night I was in the wilderness. I hearing him, I couldn't find him. And the night I found him, I went beyond him. That is why I could unfold when Trump went into I tell you this place. Okay, and right now that's the place that Elon Musk went and set up the thing and he X thing right now and poisoning the black people there in Memphis. But I didn't want to do a video at that time. And that when Trump went to Memphis before he get elected, and now what Elon Musk is doing in Memphis, but he will be stopped. I don't get that years ago. The power of melanated people will bring down that whole space thing that he's trying to do. But they better stop going to church and calling and Jesus. When they do, if you listen to me, you have relatives or anyone in Memphis where Elon Musk is doing a project there, tell them what this man say. I have it written down here. The black woman and son in Memphis. Yes. I had the revelation of something with a false prophet, but he was talking and it's been downloaded right back of my head. Even when I was speaking about the massage and all of that, the masturbation and so on, I didn't even go to the back of the head yet. I might leave that for next video and show you about the back of the head too. Okay? So, yeah. So what is going on in Memphis and so on? That's something I've been known for years I know. That it would take a black man and a black woman to stop the whole aviation program. Black woman and son will stop that aviation program. But these people having tongue harm meetings and so on. It just recently I saw it. The tongue that Elon Musk is poisoning. They have to get off their knees. Send the message to them. Give them the message. They would have to get off their knees. And they'll stop the whole space program he's trying to do. Poison the people there. Memphis. The black woman and son in Memphis. When the false prophet, the white man, he told a story. And I understand the symbolism of the story, but he never understand it because it was false. That's why when he meet me in Dreamland, in Woodland, and most people when they go Woodland, they don't come back from Woodland. He shock, he jump. I was in front of him. I went behind him. And today, so much people in Africa still believe in William Branham, and all around the world, Caribbean believe William Branham is some prophet. And last the prophet and believe is Elijah the prophet and all kind of bullshit. But you see, I've been trained. I was being trained for all of this. Okay, the spasm of the animal is the mark of the beast. We are here to turn the animal man into the spirit man. You see, the mark of the beast is in church. It's through the church program that the Antichrist spirit. You're going against your Christ consciousness. That's how tricky it is. Because they keep it in the five senses. The beast, the animal. They keep it at the level of the animal. We can see, taste, touch, and smell. And talking about Jesus coming soon and so on. They have you believing in the old God. Make you a real atheist. An idol worshipper. That's what keeping on black people. They are idol worshippers. They believe in an old God, not an in God. Why think they write any money? In God we trust. Keep oil in your lamp. It's the life force, of course. This is lamp. There's no other outside lamp. Someone here say, so nothing wrong with porn. As long as you can control the dopamine in your brain, you overcome porn. So, nothing really wrong with porn. Because if you want to overcome porn, you have to watch porn with absolutely no judgment towards yourself, neither the ones who involved in it. And once you do that, you stop all of the actions of the dopamine in your brain. And you don't get a high off of that. And once you reach to that place, after a while, porn ain't mean nothing to you. You just laugh at that. I realize that people just doing a job and they're getting paid for that. And they're selling the energy cheaply. So black women destroying themselves and selling themselves cheaply. And even black women in porn, it been paid less than white women in porn. You see how they see black people, boy? Even porn, the lowest form. I want in money. The lowest. Because you're selling that, you're actually selling the highest energy for money. Money now no intrinsic value of its own. That's the only thing about it, that because of ignorance. Now they are only fans. It's a man who wouldn't even want to pay me to have a one-on-one. But they want to go and play some woman only fans. For only fans. So nothing wrong with porn, but I'm not going to give my energy to it. But when you reach a place that you know nothing wrong with it, you know it's just the absorbing, and if God was a man in the sky, you'd been watching real porn. He know all the porn stars. It's real foolishness. It's real foolish to be a religious person, you know. It's real foolish to be a Christian calling Jesus, and you have to be real dotish, you know, bro. Man, when I watch them men and women in Geno Jennings church, and black people like myself, man, I have to speak the truth, man. You're real mentally retarded to believe in Jesus. Why Jesus? You have to be mentally retarded to really believe that in pleasuring yourself. Naturally speaking, certain parts of your body, touch certain parts of your body, is electrical signals they send throughout your body, and they tell you they're wrong and trick you with fornication and adultery. I do other videos on those things. This person says, I guess this person from Chicago, my soul is connected to. Of course, your soul must. If your soul connected to Jesus Christ, who could help you? Nobody can help you. If you can't save yourself, who the hell gonna save you? Yeah, I mean to say, this person they will come in to say that they connected to Jesus Christ, but they wouldn't say which job they're doing. I dare you to say which job you're doing. And then I will tell you why you are the employee, why you are the employer and not the employee. Do you know every time you say Jesus Christ and you give any praise or any honor to Jesus Christ, do you know you deny yourself? You know that self-hate and self-doubt? You know what is self-hate and self-doubt? I see Africa and I saw an African man and hear him. Okay, I see him on a video with a man named Sanetta, and he was asking him, and the man say he believe in Jesus even more than he believe in himself, and he was correct. And you can't get rid of those people in the world. They will always, because you need balance. You need idiots. You can't have wise without foolish. So I appreciate this Genesis Chicago person here. Okay, but I guess you're on the wrong life because you know you ain't get nothing from this. Hold to Jesus. If Jesus walking for you, hold to Jesus. I mean to say, I would even encourage you to go in the supermarket in Chicago and fill your trolley with groceries and go up by the cashier. Tell them Jesus pay the price. You could even play the blood too. But if I want to push my trolley and pay the price, I know I could use masturbation for manifestation, and not the kind of masturbation you think I'm talking about. Because this Jesus they tell you about, they never tell you if you ever had an erection. If he was a homosexual, because they tell you a man is to put his head on his shoulder. But I understand symbols. I understand symbology. So I know it's just a symbol of love. John represents love. It's not no man who exists thousands of years ago. So you don't understand the story. So you'll always have people like you. Okay, the Holy Spirit is the power of God. Well, depends on what you're referring to the Holy Spirit. Okay, because that what you're speaking right now is the Holy Spirit too. Okay, so if you think there's some other spirit outside of the life that is in you, well, up to you. If you believe there's some other upper room outside of this upper room, well, too bad for you. Okay, so it's good when people, you know, who have religious mentality could come on and share their views too. Okay, but if they become open-minded and so on and they wake up, the first thing will happen to them, they'll be very, very angry for a while. They'll be very angry. They wouldn't want to touch the Bible. But after a while, they would realize that it's a book of mind science, but they never really realize it all the time. Okay, and when people talk about the Holy Spirit, they fail to realize it's just energy they're talking about, you know. Everything just based on energy, vibration, and frequency. You know, your true self. Okay, you're not spirit. You're the spirit having a human experience. Okay, just read all these comments and then I'm going to come to a close. Who instill the belief? Or someone asks them who instill the belief in you. Okay, because when you were in this world, you didn't born with those beliefs. They were actually instilled in you. Okay, you are indoctrinated to have those beliefs. What you born in this world here with is your will, your perception. Okay, you're born with your intuition. You're born with your reasoning. You're born with all of these mental faculties. You're born with your imagination. And they're robbing you from your imagination. They give you Jesus to rob you from your imagination. What can Jesus do for me that my imagination can't do for me? The genocide. I don't know. I know a genocide took place to get to instill that kind of belief in black people. A genocide had to take place. Okay. How can we talk one-on-one? The link down below. Okay. Just send me an email and I'll send you the link. Okay. All of my one-on-one, you know, you see the payment plan and everything for one-on-one with me. Okay. So the link's down below in the description. You'll find the link. Yeah, it's always down below in all of my videos. Okay. And as I said, you can send me an email. This man speak truth. I could listen to him all day. Okay. And it's only people who have truth in them could receive the truth. So all the people who come in here and talk about Jesus is where you are at this point also. So if you're down here, I mean, you could receive it a certain way. But the moment you have a change and you really repent, because repent is have a radical change of mind, a change of thinking. The day that happened and you get up here and your IQ go to another level, then you say, boy, sorry. You come back and apologize. Of course, that is a delusion. It's a delusion. Nothing dies. Just a metamorphosis. How I know that? Because when you could actually come out of your body conscious and go back in your body, you know. Why you think the church tell people they mustn't know anything about astral projection and so on? When the Bible is astrotheology and so on, that's in there. And everything goes right back to the mind. I was born after apartheid and I'm 32. So what you're saying, that the effects of apartheid is not still happening? So you're saying you not believe in epigenetics? So when you go to the doctor, why the doctor does ask you if diabetes run in the family? If kidney problem run in the family, or if something run in the family, not because it been passed down. Why they just check the DNA of a child to know who's the father from who's not the father? These people always come up with a bunch of crap. Like these people in South Africa who been saying they was not wrong when an apartheid, so was their old ancestors do it. But they reaping all the benefit. Like all the children of slave masters right now in my country reaping all of the benefit and hiding the secret from the other people. They can't hide it from me. I don't wake up. Time to stop crying about a past you never experienced. Me ain't crying, me ain't playing no victim game. You understand? So why you think you here and what I'm saying, it touching a part of you? Because you realize that your ancestors lied to you and they give you a certain privilege that will haunt you for the rest of your life. You understand what I'm saying? So if your conscience will prick you, don't vex with me. You understand? And if my ancestors who sold their own, you understand, do that, their children have to pay the consequences too. But those who stood for what was right and rather death and so on, I want to believe I come from the bloodline. That's why I still doing the same thing. I come from the seed. So if you're different, okay, then you're gonna act different. You won't get hurt. Okay? Where are the what? Where are you from? I come from God. And I go back to God. I am God. I come from the same place you come from. Don't get caught up with geography. Okay? I'm just joking. I live in the Caribbean. Okay? I live in the Caribbean. Someone said the point went over our head. Eh? Okay. What the point? Black people are downtrodden. It's only people who want to be downtrodden will be downtrodden. Okay. People who understand freedom, people who understand who they are, they don't be victim, be downtrodden. I'm not like that. Okay, what I'm saying? For example, I did a video and I do another video concerning what is white people weakness. You see, most black people never study white people. Their weakness is their pride. I prove that over and over. You know what I mean? I remember I play with a white man pride who was down here deceiving the people talking about Jesus. You know what I mean? And he bowed to it. He bowed to what I was the game. He ended up and confessed that he's God because I beat my chest. Watch him straight in his soul. Say, I am God. You get angry. Because they've been playing the part of God. And you've been playing the part of the slave. You understand? By accepting this Jesus bullshit. So then I said to him, I said, so why you down here with these things talking about the last testament of Jesus and you go around telling our people about Jesus and your prophet Joseph, what's his name? Man from down what the state down, I forgot what the name of the state is. With Joseph Smith. Yeah. Down in I forgot the name of the state. Where did this come from? Someone saying that the genes are recessive too. Okay. Here there's man attacking faith based on culture. This is not attacking faith based on culture. I'm attacking what is fake by exposing that which is fake, because one man God is another man devil. Why Jesus is every black man devil. That's why any picture I see of white Jesus shit on it, literally shit on it, because that's black people devil. Okay, so if a black man believe in Jesus, he's worshiping the devil, he's lower self. He's been chopped in the five senses, and they've been chopped right here in this earth, going wrong and wrong and wrong in circle. Can't fool me, bro. Can't fool me. Why speaking I come from books? It's in my DNA. A certain bloodline. Yeah. I notice you love. I notice you love me, man. Up to now you can't come out. You can't leave. You can't leave. I thought black people didn't have nothing to teach white people, you know. I thought we were subhuman. You should not leave because there's nothing for you to learn. Because see, past this nose, the hatred has blinded him. So, which hatred? Huh? Hatred? Man, look, when I see people of your kind come down here in the islands and pretend to be so friendly and loving, I just laugh. I was right here doing a video. A woman from Germany come and gave my my little daughter a little snack, and I didn't tell her anything. My daughter didn't need it. I was in the city. A man came on a tourist ship. Also, came out of a supermarket, had some change. Gave my daughter. My little daughter is just like two years plus. I could have tell him, no, don't take that from that cracker. I could have said that. I never said that. I said, say thank you. But when she get big and old, I'm going to teach her about you. And you teach, for example, I'm supposed to do a video. What would I teach my white son? Well, if I was white, what I would I teach my children? And why would I teach my children those things? Okay, so you see, black people never put themselves in the place of white people because they don't study them, they blind them. They use religion to blind them. That's why I could never date and be with a white woman. I saw a white man just yesterday driving, when I was driving and so on a pass, I think when I came around subway, yeah, I drive around subway there, I see a white man, a black man with a white woman. I felt so sorry for him. He lived in a childhood fantasy. He was fantasizing a white woman for years. Just like when I drive in and people have loud music in their vehicle, and I listen to my wife, you know, he live in his dream. That's why he was dreaming, you know. You know, when a little child believe that if they have plenty money, they will eat a lot of sweets. That's how he was dreaming and thinking when you have a vehicle, you play all of this loud music inside the vehicle. And that's what he doing. He been imagining that all the time. Big up Jamaica. Not just Jamaica, big up the entire Caribbean. And I'm not even from Jamaica. Okay? As a matter of fact, where I'm living here, I would have to travel about 4.5 hours by plane to go to Jamaica. Because I went Jamaica already. Okay? So I took a plane from here, from this island to St. Lucia. Because St. Lucia is like, say, about 15 to 20 minutes away from where I'm living. Okay, and I slept in St. Lucia, and then all in the morning I woke up and took a plane to Jamaica. And it took me 4 hours, so it'd be like 4.5 hours. Okay, by plane. So it's not Jamaica. Most people, you know, like in America, Canada, England, they're more familiar with Jamaica, okay, and not the rest Caribbean islands. Someone said church burn women and call them witches. It's delusional. Yes, Joan of Arc and so many people. They kill Polycarp and so many different people. Okay, the church can commit genocide to push that kind of narrative down the people's throat. The church is the most nasty, stinking, dirty, bloody institution there is, along with the school system, because they tie in the church system in the school system down in the islands, in the Caribbean, and I believe Africa too. That's why I have a middle finger for all the politicians. I'm looking for a politician who will get rid of all form of colonialism. Even the Iron Man they have in my city, there's an Iron Man they have in this city, and is a white man with a gun, a soldier they say about World War II or something like that, and they can't see that is a fucking big colonial symbol they have there. They need to take it down. And they tell the people in this country that they have a national hero, and he was killed up there, up on a mountain where a bunch of children who were left here from rape. Okay, these light-skinned people was left up in an area called Dorsetshire. And then every I forget, I think it's the 14th of March. Yeah, they normally go up there and have ceremony. Government officials and so on, and people go up there and gather and say, but that's another subject for another time. I've written a book on it that I haven't even published yet. But the hope and everything concerning this island and all the colonial lies too. So, when did you first raise your energy and boost your crown chakra? Around 2015, around there. Around 2015, around there, and then 2016, I started gather here, and I used to lecture. I used to have few people, just, a handful of people I just invite, and I used to lecture to them. And then in 2017, I started my YouTube. By the time I started my YouTube, I would have already written books. So while I was talking and I was saying that I have books, someone reached out to me. People started reaching out to me and asking me about the books. So I said to them, I would have only written them in notebooks. So then a lady reached out to me and told me how I could get them published and so on. That time it was just ebooks, I think. And I started with ebooks now, I do the other forms of books. Okay. But it was around 2015. Okay. When did you first, raise your energy and boost your crown chakra? Around 2015. You judge a religion based on the core doctrine and not the people who claim to follow it. Bro, all the religious denominations in the Caribbean were started by a white man or a white woman. Shit, go do a research now, man. I'm really touching somewhere for you. That's why I can't come off the life. You will find a big heap of bullshit surrounding the truth. Okay, so all of these religious bodies down in the Caribbean, even up to this day, some of the churches in my country still send money to the people who build these churches down in the Caribbean. They send them to Cleveland, Tennessee. That's where they have the headquarters. They have churches like Church of God of Prophecy, New Testament Church of God, all of these. The Baptist Church right here by the Gardens Gate right down here, not too far from where out there. That does be filled with people every Sunday. I remember one time I went there and I challenged the white people when they came down go see the monkeys. I said, you all came down to see the monkeys, the church monkeys, because you built a monkey pen for them. And you know what they were doing? They were testing pressure, people pressure and so on. That's the trick. And then when I went to the grocery, I met them there. And at the same time, one of them tried to come approach to speak to me, and the US was trying to warn her to say, no, don't think he's a crazy man. And I started in their ass. I said, you all just using that but testing pressure, blood sugar and blood pressure, and coming down here trying to indoctrinate the people and keep the people blind and stupid while you all live like kings and queens up in fucking Cleveland, Tennessee. Nobody can fool me. All these churches in the Caribbean, they're sending the money back to Cleveland, Tennessee. This boy Gino Jennings has so much churches in Jamaica. And the hungry belly people in Jamaica making Gino Jennings look like a king, live like a king in America. People need to wake the fuck up. That's what they need. Okay, let me just read these red comments because I'm going to come to a close here. So, masturbation for manifestation, man. Psychological masturbation. Go within and play with yourself. Enjoy yourself within. That's what I'm talking about. Pleasure yourself from within. How it start? By changing your mindset. Hey, well, I am looking good. Yeah. Hello, you're a small boy, my son. I'm not a small boy. I already passed the half century mark. I just look good for my age. Look how I look. and past the half century mark. And past the half century mark. I don't put no white man poison in my body. I don't put no steroids, nothing. Very triggered right now. I'm a very cool person right now. I grew up Catholic as well, and since I was 7, I seen through the bullshit. Good for you that you could have seen through the bullshit at a very young age. Not so down here. It took me 25 years in church system to really come to the truth. The reason why I was able to escape is because no one have ever convinced me. It was me searching for self. It was me from a little boy crying with tears in my eyes and beating my chest and asking myself, who am I and who's God? And so I set out, and the journey was to discover who am I and who's God for myself. And when I found God, I found myself. And when I found myself, I found God. And then that's why I could give the preachers and the politicians a middle finger. Nobody can fool me again. Okay, he's going after the I'm loving this one, okay? Yeah, because I think I don't give enough knowledge concerning masturbation manifestation. I reach to here, at least up here, okay? And another time I show you the next part of the body and so on, okay? You know, till I reach right down to the sole of your feet. If you read the Bible, you realize it condemns the Catholics at every turn. The Bible is just a book of mind science, that's it. It's all freaking mind science. It's a magic freaking book. If you know how to use it, it's a magic book. That's why I rewrite it as the 66 books are magic, and I remove freaking Jesus. I remove the idol. It's just I am. You write your name there. I am. It's you. You're the great magician who's going to turn water into wine. You're the great magician who's going to walk on water. Yeah. Greetings from South Africa. Greetings, my brother. From South Africa. It's great to have someone reaching out all the way from South Africa. I hope you're one of those who sing the song. Kill the farmer, kill the boy. Get rid of the farmer. Oh, I'm having fun. All that is masturbation, man. It's friction going on within. Okay? You went to church, but you never read it. Like you had a hearing. You didn't hear what I say. I only went to church because I went to church as a seeker. And I find what I was looking for. I was looking for myself. If you're not looking for yourself, tell me what are you looking for. You're born in this world. In amnesia, you forget who you are. You want to get back to that place of remembrance. Man, if you want to do something, book a one-on-one with me, man. We could talk. Okay? Idolizing everyone but yourself is not normal. How could it be normal? You're idolizing Jesus. People idolizing this, they idolizing that, and not themselves. They drift you away from yourself. Oh, someone was reminding me the name was Terrence Howard. Who when he correct the mathematical error and so on, they say crazy. They always do that. But if it was a white man, they wouldn't say anything. If it was Elon Musk, nobody would argue. Catholic is the first true church that started. A Catholic will say anything. I mean, a Catholic, if you receive Catholic seed, you're going to become a Catholic. You receive Adventist seed, you become Adventist. You receive Jehovah's Witness seed, you become a Jehovah's Witness. Whatever seed been planted in your garden, that is the fruit you're going to bring forth. It can be basic, simple common sense. Churches to brainwash you, control your mental. Brain need a washing. I'm using that, okay. This kind of knowledge, we're going to wash your brain from all of the religious church nonsense. In the Bible, the Antichrist, the proper translation is the place of Christ. Man, once you not believe in yourself and your Christ consciousness, you are Antichrist, you're against yourself. That's Antichrist right there. All church folks is Antichrist. Because they believe in an out God, not an in God. They don't believe in yourself. That's the trick. True salvation is self-realization. There's no other salvation. Why you think I'm telling people it must masturbation for manifestation? That's salvation. But if you're carnal, you only think about masturbation in the physical and not in the psychological. Right now, this is a masturbation process going on right now with me here. Why you guys so happy? I'm playing with myself. Myself is invisible. I'm touching myself, my invisible self. But you could touch your invisible self and touch your physical self and manifest. So the church having people having sex without any purpose. So a preacher and church folks, all they thinking, well, I ain't doing it in fornication, I ain't doing it in adultery. That's all in their mind. So from the moment a man say, repeat after me, and he read from a little book, after he gone and he pay the establishment some money. And the very Bible itself say that marriage is a great mystery. And then when he start now, he for example, imagine Eddie Lang, a preacher, going with men, and he have a wife. That mean when he was expressing himself with his wife, his mind was on those boys. And it became his reality. Okay, the brain need a washing, LOL. Facts. Yeah. Brain needs a bath. Yeah. People brain definitely, all the church people brain need a bath. They need a washing and a cleansing. A true washing and a cleansing. Okay, coming close to 2 hours, I have to close just now. So let me just read this comment because I want to read everybody comment. The Pope wears on his hat Vicar of Christ, which means in place of Christ. Of course, he's taking the place of your Christ consciousness. That's why all these religious people and people who go to church, they are worshiping the Pope. That's why you always have a white Pope. And when things get so bad and black people start to wake up, they might give them a black Pope too, you know. Remember they give America a half white president, you know, who they claim to be claim to say he was gay. And the Bible said there will be many more. The problem is white-handed black people in Jamaica and Africa, a modified Bible. We don't know how many times the Bible was modified. It not just modified, it's what it was interpreted to them. It was interpreted to them in a way to enslave them. Because I could use it to free you. That is why people who just try to make you believe that they should just burn the Bible and get rid of the Bible, they chicken you. Like, that's why I mean, I don't like to call people my name, but I have to call out people like Billy Carson, who want to tell about Anunnaki God and make you think what literal people and tricking you. Okay. Our ancestors leave things in stones down here that we call hieroglyphs. So I know what I'm talking about. And the science was left down here. They call themselves spiritual Baptists. The Prime Minister just gave them holiday. And they don't even know what it's all about. The white man corrupt their science and give it back to them. And they don't even know. Even people in Haiti, some of them turn around and call their own science evil. Okay, I'm going to come to a close just now because my wife and child right now, they start to get a little bit hungry-ish. Okay, so, but let me just try to read on these other comments. When they thought they were shitting on nothing while I slept, I don't understand that. You are teaching my brother pure truth from your soul. Of course. Thank you very much for that. This guy. The only African country uncolonized is Ethiopia. There you will find the oldest existing Bible in the world. Yeah. And it's not 66, it's more than 66 books. Okay, that is why when the man came from the burning bush that wasn't consumed, okay, to me, okay, and give me my commission. Okay, he is an Ethiopian looking man. Okay, and he was dressed in African garments. So, okay, I know. And one of the oldest painting you will see of one who come into the Christ self and so on and the symbol of the what they call the virgin birth and so on, because the virgin birth is the secret of a man giving birth and so on. But they just use a woman as a symbol. You find it, the black woman and the child in a church in Ethiopia that you have to climb a mountain and go up in the mountain and go into the mountain. Okay, I'm African, and here we know the Bible was in Africa before it was in Europe. Not that kind of Bible. Not that kind of Bible with white Jesus. Okay. So if the one that walk from the fire that doesn't consume in African garment came to me, okay, and he didn't come to you, this is not ego speaking, this is truth, okay? I stand on business. It means that you can't teach me. I can teach you. The ancestor chose me, okay? Because with great power come great responsibility, okay? I'm in a magical state every night. Of course, every night you're about to go to sleep, you're in a magical state. Every time you get horny, you're in a magical state also. Okay? Anytime you touch yourself, any part of your body and get happy and all of that, you're in a magical state. You can use it to manifest. Wakanda Forever. That's a movie. Some churches may paint a white Jesus, but that's people that not Bible. It doesn't matter how they paint Jesus. Okay, it is not a person. It's a personification that represents the human imagination. It's the power in you. Okay, my brother, don't get chick. Jesus actually mean I am. Could you say I am for someone else? You could never say I am and not referring to yourself. Wake up, African. Wake up. No Bible was in Africa where you get that from. Okay? He say the Bible was in Africa, but I telling you, okay, ancestors leave out messages in stones. Okay, and if you understand those hieroglyphs, you'll understand that the temple of all intelligence is within you. Okay? For me, Bible is basic in a belief life eternal. Okay, that's the revelation I have. But they tell you it's basic instruction before leaving earth. Okay? But because the English language is a coded language, this body is earth. And if you get the instruction before leaving here, you could astral project too. You see? You see how tricky the thing is? Okay, because there's a light in your forehead, but I don't want to go into all of that. Because if you come out of your body and don't know how to go back in your body, you go hurt yourself. Okay? The underworld, the demonic realm. The demonic realm is the negative, stinking, dirty, low thinking. You understand what I'm saying? We'll use the most precious thing we have, our will against creation. Everything you see on the outside is freaking an illusion. Okay, it's from within, it's from your perception, you're beholding it. When you close your eye and you fall asleep, with this wall and creation you're freaking talking about, where is it? If you will isn't with the Lord, it belongs to the other side. Alright, watch me. People who go to church cannot overcome gossiping. Gossiping is a nasty, stinking, dirty demon. It's a low, you have to be a low vibration, you know. A real low vibrator being. You say this opinion not based on Christians that follow of the religion today, but what I was taught and Christians are taught today is a second testament, not an original religion. Christians are just the most brainwashed, weak, and disabled people on the planet. To be honest with you. And when I say Christians, I'm saying Christians, I'm not leaving out people who's trapped in Islam too. Okay? But because I grew up in a Christian society, I'm saying that. But like Africa have people who trapped the two set of people that enslave black people, one give them Islam and one give them Christianity. And most people only know one. Enslave them, then the other one who did enslave them first before this other one. So most people only know about the transatlantic slave trade, but much people do not know anything about the Sahara one. Okay. Oh, you could bow to Jesus, Bruce. You go ahead, you bow. Can't keep bowing. On your weak man, just bow. Yeah, from London. Greetings to you from London. Of course, if you want Jesus to be your Lord, it's okay. I am the Lord of my life. Asexuality is the lack of sexual attraction to others or low or absent interest in or desire for sexual activity. Oh, that's the person had asked what he meant by the word. It may be considered a sexual orientation or the lack thereof. I mean, like women, you're impotent or something like that. Okay, okay. Read the Bible, don't sit in a building. Even if you read the Bible, you wouldn't understand it if you do not understand it's a book of mind science. And you have to use reverse psychology. Everything the Bible telling you not to do, do it. Except homosexuality, eh? because you know, man over man, when you go and you mark an X, that's homosexuality, you put a man to rule over you. So, you know, this thing, it take a lot for really teach people. If you can handle the truth. Some people can handle the truth, eh? Okay, even the same person making all of this coming. He keep trying to patch hole with you. The man deceive those who think they are using the man's plane. I think my battery going now. Okay. The people who are deceived, okay, it is harder to convince them that they are deceived. Okay? And more easier to deceive them than to teach them that they are deceived. So they like to use the word demons. They don't have a proper understanding of demons. Demons are negative thinking, dirty thinking, bro. Whoever you are. Can we talk one-on-one? Of course, you can book a one-on-one with me. All of the links are down below, okay? Reach out to me by email. Have you heard of the West Indian Mafia? They'll give you an offer you can understand. Okay, I'm in Ghana. Please let the language be clear. The patois is too much for me. Please, I like what you are teaching. But you can book a one-on-one with me. I could take my time and we can have a good talk. Okay, you will learn from Ethiopia, of the line of Judah, where Rastafarians came from. Ras is an honorable title, okay, and you can't just claim to be a Ras, okay. I could go into things with that. It's an honorable title, okay. So Tafari wasn't a broke or poor person, okay. You see, the word Ras, you have to add the word rich to it too. So you can't just say you're a Rastafari, not a rich Tafari, you know. Okay? So it doesn't reflect, once you see your life reflect poverty, it doesn't reflect what you're talking about with Ethiopia and Selassie. Selassie never reflect poverty. Okay? And he became a Ras. But it was an honorable title. It wasn't him alone became Ras. Many became Ras too. Okay? Look into Illuminati, Freemason, Templars, ancient religions. They are from fallen angels. Fallen angel is a fallen thought. Many people normally ask me if I belong to any of those things. I never joined none of those things. Okay, so, you know, for a person to say what you know, say they, and you're not part of them, it's bullshit. You've been a fast witness. Don't be so stupid. Since I go up, I hear preachers say all kind of foolishness. Oh, this is not the answer, that is not the answer, Jesus is the answer, and this is the answer, and they was never part of these things. I was never part of a secret society, so I don't know what the fuck they teach in a secret society. So how do you know? You see? So please, stop with the bullshit. Okay, Rasta praising Jesus, bow to no man. My brother, who praising Jesus? Man, some people just talking shit, man. You just come on, you know what I'm talking about. Speaking Chinese language. If someone doesn't understand clearly what I'm saying and you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can book a one-on-one with me. I take my time, speak properly and everything for you to understand, okay? Because you have to understand, you know, that I'm trying my best to, you know, answer everyone. Hi, sir. This is Christy from Saint Kitts, I'm so glad you are bringing truth. It's so good to know someone from Saint Kitts have found this live. It's a blessing. Okay, greetings to you from SVG. St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Rasta is our brother, not the father. I love Jesus. He saved me. Stay safe. Continue to be safe. Okay? But I say fuck Jesus. I don't believe in no Jesus. Okay? I am the Christ. Okay? If you can't say that, too bad for you. You're not ready for this knowledge. Someone said Jesus couldn't save himself. Jesus was not a... People, let me say this again. Jesus was not a literal man who exists thousands of years ago. You have to be raised dumb, raised stupid, and be mentally retarded to believe that. You can't plant pumpkin and reap watermelon. No such a man could exist and go back and leave his spirit in you, and you can't do the same thing. It's a secret. The Bible is a coded book. Okay, if you want more knowledge about that, all of those things, you can all time book a one-on-one with me. I could get my books. Okay, all the information down below. The Old Testament speak of the Israelite worshiping false God. Once you believe in a God outside of yourself, that's false God. You believe in Jesus, you're worshiping a false God. Child sacrifice, etc. Of course, you're sacrificing your inner child. That's what you're talking about. You're not talking about like a child that come out of a woman's womb. Your inner child. That way crucifying, that way worshiping, that way you're talking about is a coded book, bro. You spoke against this. Who is the Jesus that spoke against this? Is the higher self talking about? Look, I speaking against it. No man 2,000 years ago. He told them, you worship the father of lies. Okay? You worship it. When you worship Jesus, you're worshiping the father of lies. Okay? That's what's going on. So you don't really realize that. I was an unbeliever a long time. Me too, Claire. I know. I can't read all of these comments with these people and Jesus. Yeah, all these religious people here, I can't really do these religious people right now. I'm the creator of everything in my life, okay? There's no other creator outside. Creator is within, okay? Basic common sense. He wasn't supposed to say, nah, all these religious babbling, I'm not gonna entertain them. Okay, all these religious babbling, I'm not gonna entertain these religious babbling here. I'm gonna get out of here now. So I wanna thank everyone for the live who have tuned in, and I will continue again. So it was a joy and a pleasure. Anyone who want more clarity and so on, you can book a one-on-one with me. Also, my books are available on Amazon. The links are down below. Whatsoever you need, okay, it could become your reality. Okay, just learn more about your body. Okay, there's so much comments here. I couldn't even get to read all of these comments, but I want to thank everyone who tune in to this live. It's really a joy and a pleasure. I'll definitely see you next week in another live. Peace. Love you all. Out.